Um, and I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's coming, especially Lori. I'm so excited for your presentation, and let me give you the ability to share your screen, and the stage is yours.
Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yep.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so how to sell more of anything. We're going to talk about how you can amp up your descriptions of your products or your services and sell more of them than ever. We're going to start with a quote. I love this quote because it reminds me to take the focus off of me and regain my focus on my client. So selling is not something you do to someone, it's something you do for someone. Now, if you don't give the information that somebody needs to make a good choice, then you're not being of service to them. So this is a way for you to kind of reframe how you think about selling and make sure that you are addressing exactly what your client needs to hear so that the work that they are doing is much less because you're showing them the whole picture with your sales process. So just a quick introduction. Who is Lori Reeves? I am the founder and CEO of BrandStrength and the creator of Brand School. I was a freelance web designer for 4 years. I did that with many entrepreneurs who are very similar to me. They were service-based entrepreneurs. And I found after 4 years that a lot of them were expecting me to build them a better business with a better website or a prettier website. But a prettier website is, as we all know, not what makes a successful business. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm a service person. I care deeply about being in service to people, and I'm not doing as much as I can. So I decided that I wanted to take a step back, figure out how I could help them better. And I took a 3-year step back where I learned how to be a copywriter. I got certified as a copywriter, and then I started working with people again. Now, when I took that step back, I really thought that the reason I wasn't able to help people is that I wasn't asking the right questions in order to get the information that I needed to help them create a better business. What I found as a copywriter was that I had the right questions to ask, but the people I was asking the questions to didn't have the answers for me. And I realized then that it's not that somebody who thinks a website is going to make their business better needs a website or copy. They actually need a better business foundation, a better brand foundation. And that's where BrandStrength was born. So that's what I do now. I help service provision entrepreneurs, people who provide a service. Typically, I can work with people who do products. I have in the past, but my passion is for people who are like on fire for making a change in the world. And typically those people are service providers. So I help them bring their service to more people and have a bigger impact than ever and make more money than they ever thought they could. So that's just a little bit about me. And we are going to, let me go over what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to describe your offering, what you must know in order to do this well, how to activate your potential clients' dreams, one crucial element that most entrepreneurs leave out in their sales conversations, and practical examples and demonstration. So let's first jump into this. If you have any experience in marketing and copywriting, you may have heard people talk about features versus benefits. Now, I don't want you to say, oh, features versus benefits. I know this. Like, I don't need to think about this. I will tell you that a lot of my clients who write a description for what they're doing believe that they're adding benefits in, but they're really actually just listing their features. And so, plus there's one other crucial element that will bump up your features and benefits. So we want to make sure that we're really clear on what these mean so that we can make sure that our product descriptions are fantastic. So let's first look at features. So a feature is descriptive. It's something that's physical, measurable, or countable. It's not persuasive in nature, and it's not going to influence a buying decision on its own. So 3 examples of features would be a worksheet that helps someone brainstorm their social media content, or the number of coaching sessions available in your whole coaching package. That would be a feature. Or the length of time you'll be spending with someone, whether that's like in an individual session or through the course of several months. That's also a feature. A benefit is what the feature gives you by including that feature. It is more persuasive in nature, and it explains why each feature is offered. So using the same 3 examples, the first one, the benefit of a worksheet that helps you brainstorm your social media content is that you don't have to come up with all the content ideas by yourself. The benefit of knowing that there are 12 monthly coaching sessions is that you know you'll have the support you need to meet a whole year's worth of obstacles. The benefit of a 20-minute coaching session is that you can fit one of those coaching sessions into almost any day without it disrupting your whole day. Okay. Now, before we go any further, we have to talk about one step that has to come first. Before you can write benefits that actually persuade your potential clients to purchase, you have to fully understand your client. So you need to have a clear picture of who they are and what's important to them. Otherwise, the benefit statements that you use actually could repel your audience, and we definitely don't want that. So every feature that you list could have multiple benefits, and the ones that you include in your sales conversations or on your sales page have to seem beneficial to your clients or they won't work for you. So let's take an example. So let's say that your feature is a sales page template. There are some possible benefits that you could have for a sales page template. So one of the benefits could be that it uses expert persuasion methods throughout the template to increase impulse purchases. Okay, so that would be really beneficial to somebody who just wants to get sale after sale after sale, right? Or all the topics are covered fully, so there's no buyer's question that remains unanswered. Okay, so if you have somebody who really wants to make sure that they're communicating clearly with their clients and using the sales page to, do the heavy lifting of letting somebody know, okay, this does everything I want it to do, and you want to have shorter conversations in person to close the sale, then that would be the benefit that would matter to that person. Or maybe the benefit is that it's consistently rated one of the most beautiful sales pages out of 20 examples shown. So for somebody who's really concerned about aesthetics and they want the most beautiful thing possible, that's the best benefit to rely on. But you can see here that you have to know what your client values in order to know what benefit to use when you're describing that feature. And then there's one little addition that makes all the difference. So if you add one more component to your features and your benefits list, then you have the beginning of an ultra persuasive marketing message. And what is that little thing? It's an advantage. So if you tell what each feature and benefit give you the advantage to do, then you're rounding out the persuasive nature of your messaging and speaking to the aspirations that your clients have. You're telling them you can get to this end result that is exactly what you want. So again, for the example of the worksheet, the advantage of a worksheet that helps you brainstorm your social media content is that you can spend a few minutes and easily create compelling social media content for the whole month, right? You can imagine yourself only spending a few minutes and having a whole month's worth of... My lawn guy is knocking on my door. I'm just going to hope he goes away. Okay.
You can go ahead if you want really fast.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
If he knocks again, I may, but I think he's fine. So the advantage of having your 12 monthly coaching sessions is that you'll make more progress in 1 year than you have in the past 5. So this is again speaking to the person who's like, I'm tired of spinning my wheels. I just want to get there. I need to make more progress in 1 year than I have in the past 5. That's exactly why I would get this coaching package. Or the advantage of a 20-minute coaching session is that you're able to take care of all of your areas of life without feeling like something is slipping, because it's just a 20-minute coaching call that you can fit in anywhere, which means if you need to talk about your kids, you can talk about your kids. If you need to talk about your relationship with your spouse, it's just a 20-minute call. So you feel like you can handle all of it together. So let's pull it all together now. So when we look at the features and the benefits and the advantages all together, it looks like this. So you get the feature, which gives you the benefit, so you can advantage. Adding the advantage, like I just said a minute ago, it allows you to activate the dreams that your client has. It allows you to help them envision their life once they have achieved those dreams and accomplished what your program is going to help them accomplish. But remember when I said at the beginning that there's one crucial element that most entrepreneurs leave out? So even though you could be painting this picture of a better life by getting all the features and the benefits and the advantages perfectly dialed in, if you're not continuing to remind them of the pain they're currently in, or worse, the pain that they could be in if they don't decide to move forward with you, then you're not being as persuasive as you could be. Now, most people will work much harder to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. So you want to outline the possible downfalls. Now, we don't want to use scare tactics, but if you don't address what could happen if they make the decision to do one of the 3 options that they have besides going with you, and not show them how that could, potentially harm them, make their situation worse, put off their results and everything, you need to make sure that they're thinking through not only that you can get them to where they want to go, but what could happen if they don't move forward. So again, we want to do this tactfully. So there are 3 alternatives to hiring you, and 3 only. That's it. They can either do nothing, not solve their problem. They can try to put together a DIY solution instead of paying someone to solve the problem, or they can hire somebody besides you. That's it. Those are their only 3 options. But if you're gonna, and you need to talk about all of them, but if you're gonna talk about like not hiring another company, provider, or whatever, you really need to know what that person or company is offering and where there are gaps or downfalls in what they're not offering, so that you can speak clearly and honestly and truthfully about what they will not be getting if they go with X provider that they would get if they go with you. Okay. So if you don't have all that deep competitive analysis information, then just focus on the prospect, like picking somebody else or not fixing the problem or DIYing a solution. And then you can just kind of amp up why your solution is much better than those 2. So when you're looking at these 3 alternatives, you want to think about what problems could arise, what could that cause, and what would be the result of that happening. So for this altogether, you put the problems and the cause, what that could cause, and the result. So it's like you avoid this, which causes this to happen and can leave you here. Okay. So we want to make sure that we're looking at all of that together with all of the features and benefits of what you're offering, and paint this full picture of the life that you can promise them on the other side where they've achieved their dreams, and make sure that you're kind of agitating that pain just a little bit so that they are compelled to move forward in one direction or another. Okay. Do we have any questions before we move into examples? Because I know this is kind of hard to just kind of think through, and that's why I want to go through a real life example so that we can actually see this in action. Do we have any questions?
I did. The slide that you had with the first blanks, you get something, which gets you something. I didn't get all that. It was a little too fast.
Sorry, let me go right.
So you can, okay.
Yeah. You get the feature, which gives you the benefit, so you can realize this advantage, have this advantage.
Feature, benefit. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let's get into this real life example. We're going to use a weight loss coaching example. Now we're going to look at an example of an actual weight loss coaching program that I found online. Okay. We're going to look at how it was described and see if we can improve upon it. Now, I don't want to like, ooh, check out this awful person. Like, I'm not going to tell you whose this was or whatever. So I'm not showing you the actual page. This is just copied and pasted from the description of the coaching package. So it may be a little bit small on your screen. I'm not totally sure. So I'll just read it out loud. This program is perfect for those just beginning to eat better, wanting to burst through a plateau, or wanting to manage a disease like prediabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, etc. Not only do you get your personalized meal plan, you get 4 in-depth individual sessions to get the education and support you need to be successful. We'll have time to fine-tune your plan based on your health goals and get you started on the path to success. We will address the barriers that are unique to you, such as eating out, lack of exercise, or emotional eating. You will feel energized and excited about your new way of life. And don't worry, there is no cookie cutter approach here. So after reading and hearing that description, is anybody like, sign me up? Who is this? I have to know. I'll tell you, it fell a little flat for me. Like it's informative. It's just not all that persuasive, right? It's not something that's going to make somebody like jump through the screen and be like, I have to have a call with this person. So let's see if we can improve on it a little bit, okay? Now, I will say underneath that paragraph, these were the features listed of what's included in this weight loss coaching program. It's 2 months long. There are 4 live or virtual sessions. Those are one-on-one. There's a newsletter, a jumpstart call, a welcome kit, a nutrition assessment, a personalized meal plan, a food tracking via an app, a subscription to a menu service, and tracking forms. And this is exactly how it was listed on the website. Okay, so these are all features, right? None of these are a benefit. So let's also, again, we talked about how important it is to understand your audience. From what was written in the description of the product, this is who I assume is this client avatar. It's someone who started a weight loss journey, feels a little lost, they hit a plateau that they can't seem to overcome, or they possibly have medical conditions related to obesity, or they're starting to have those. They struggle with lack of motivation, little to no exercise, not knowing what to eat at a restaurant, and managing their emotions and indulging in emotional eating. Okay, so we're not going to go through all those features, but we are going to go through a few so that we can look at the feature, what the possible benefit could be, and what advantage we could lean on. So let's first look at this 2 months long. I combined it because it said it had them on 2 different bullets, but it's 2 months long and you get 4 live calls or virtual calls during that time. So the benefit could be, as your weight loss journey proceeds, new questions or issues may pop up. You'll have the opportunity to address anything you encounter along the way. Sounds pretty good. The advantage of that is that at the end of 2 months, you will have gauged your results, made changes, and optimized your own customized plan so it will serve you well throughout the rest of your weight loss journey to your desired goal. Now, think about if you just say you get 4 calls over 2 months. Would anybody be able to make the jump to, oh, gee, at the end of 2 months, I'm already going to have made changes and changed up the plan. I'll be so much further along. Like they're not making that jump, right? Even though if they sat and thought about it, they might, they're not going to do that. It's too much brain power. So you have to tell them what the advantage is so that they can connect those dots and see, oh, I see why you're including this feature. I need that. I need that advantage. Let's look at the second one, a newsletter. I have no idea what her newsletter is, but it could be, here's the benefit. It's rich with exercise routines, new recipes, and motivation to keep up the good work. The newsletter will keep you on track. The advantage to that, sticking to a diet and workout routine can be hard on your own, and food boredom is real. Keep refreshing your recipe box with a variety of meals the whole family will love. Now, again, this isn't something that you might think of at the beginning of a 2-month, weight loss plan. But as you're a month into it and you're like, I cannot keep eating the same food over and over. Like by telling them, like, you might get to that point where you're tired of the food, but don't worry because you're going to be getting new recipes all the time from me, right? So you have to make that jump. You have to tie those things together so that the person who's on the other end goes, oh, dang, I definitely need that. Who cares about the newsletter? I want the advantage of the newsletter. This jumpstart call. The benefit of the jumpstart call is that your unique situation, life circumstances, and health issues will influence your ideal weight loss plan. Discuss all 3 of those with a certified health coach before you begin your journey. Now, the advantage of that is that you won't waste time and frustration on a weight loss plan that just will not fit your unique body and circumstances. You can skip the trial and error and get right down to business the best way possible for you. Now, if you are thinking about DIYing this, well, for sure, you don't know what pool, how many, diet and weight loss plans there are out there. How do you narrow it down to just the handful of a few that could actually work for your body, right? You'd have to spend so much time doing that. So when you're like, you're telling them, this is the advantage, this is the expertise that I bring that makes this so much more valuable than DIYing a solution, because you get to skip all that time, all that trial and error and the frustration of that and jump ahead. So again, I know this is like kind of easy to do when you're just watching it on a screen. So I'm just going to like ad lib one so that we can kind of see like how this comes about. Because it's not always like, oh, for sure, here's the benefit, here's the advantage, right? So let's think through, let's say there's a welcome kit. Okay. So maybe the welcome kit, the benefit of the welcome kit is that it is a comprehensive kit that shows you exactly what's coming up in the program, and you'll be able to mentally prepare yourself for what's to come. Maybe it even shows like the exercises that you're going to be doing so that you can see that they're incremental changes instead of wondering what's going to come up, the next week. And the advantage of that is that by clearly seeing your plan, you don't lose track of, what you're trying to go for when you get to a week and the exercise plan is revealed to you and you're like, there's no way. I mean, I was running a minute last week and you're asking me to run 5 full minutes this week. Like, there's no way I can do this. And then just throwing everything away, because you'll be able to see the whole plan in front of you, and that yes, the goal is to run for 1 minute long this week, but you see that next week, the goal is to run here. So maybe when you get to 1 minute, then you're like, I think I'm going to push myself and see if I can do 2 or 3, because you see what's coming up. So that advantage helps you understand that you're not going to be in the dark, and you're going to be able to see everything that's coming your way so that you can stay on track and keep your motivation up. So again, and if I set an advantage and it's like, well, that's not great, then we just think of another advantage, right? There are multiple advantages and benefits to each feature. So again, you just have to dial it into the one that you think is going to resonate most with the audience that you're trying to sell to. And as long as you're adding all 3 of those in, then you're really amping up the desirability of the whole product together. When you're talking about the advantage of every feature you're including, feels like a no-brainer. So again, you need to do this with every feature. It is not easy. It's a little bit time consuming. But once you see how much more impressive your program sounds when you've included the benefits and the advantages of every feature that you're including, then it helps you get more excited, and you can see where you need to connect the dots for your customers, your potential clients, so that they can see what awaits them as well. And also, don't forget, include those 3 alternatives and the downfalls that they could create. So again, those 3 alternatives are doing nothing. So what problems could arise if you do nothing? What could that problem cause, and what would be the result? Trying to DIY a solution. We talked about this a little bit ago with the weight loss program. Instead of having to wade through all these possible options of what could work for you, you get to bypass all of that and jump ahead using my experience and knowledge. And you probably can do the exact same thing. Like, if the problems that could arise are, you're going to spin your wheels, find yourself frustrated, it could make you give up. The result of that would be that your dream never comes true. You never lose the weight. You never have the relationship you want, whatever your business is. And then again, hiring a competitor. But again, if you don't have specifics about any of your competitors, then you don't want to use that too much. You could kind of generalize a little bit, but you don't have to do that, as long as you're saying like, look, I know that you have the options of not doing something or trying to do it yourself. This is why my program is much better for you. So let's use the example of not paying for help, right? So let's just quickly do this with the weight loss. So the problem that could happen if you try to do it yourself is understanding the difference between the diets and the weight loss plans and knowing what's best for your body is confusing and difficult. And without guidance, you're likely to choose wrong. So what could that cause? Well, self-selecting a weight loss plan could further your frustration, lead you to gain even more weight than you carry now, cause worsening health conditions, and keep you in a pattern of self-loathing and misery. And what would be the result of that? Without guidance and proper knowledge of why you're getting the results you're getting from a specific weight loss plan, you're virtually powerless to fix the problem yourself. So you'll be stuck in a cycle of dieting, losing weight, plateauing, gaining it back, and starting the whole process over again. So you can see, like, we're doing the feature, the benefit, and the advantage of the good things, and the problem, the cause, and the result. Problem, what that would cause, and the result of the bad things, so that you can really paint that full picture, not only of where you can take them, but what could happen if they choose poorly, as the guy on, what was that, The Last Crusade, Indiana Jones movie says. So I do have a worksheet that you can grab. If you go to the link right here, brandstrength.co/worksheet, you don't have to opt in. It's just a worksheet that contains everything that we just did here so that you can list your features, brainstorm the benefits and the advantages, and also the detriments that could happen if they choose to not solve the problem, DIY a solution, or go with a known competitor. Do we have any questions now?
I have a question, Lori.
Okay.
So as you posted before, there were features, right, in like bullet point format. So if you're kind of creating a more lengthy benefit, how do you put that on your homepage or without it just being so much copy? Or would you kind of utilize it in a different way, like through email or on like a call? How would you utilize that best?
So really, you can do it in many different ways. I wouldn't do multiple bullets. I would just create a statement that includes the feature, the benefit, and the advantage. Again, like we did in this right back here, where I think Deb asked about it. You would just like list it in a sentence, basically. So you get the Jumpstart call, which gives you the ability to talk through your nutrition currently, and so that you can skip all this blah, 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 blah. So like you're just using a longer phrase so that it's not short and choppy. It's like, developing your idea and presenting your whole idea to people. So you can do that on your website. You can also do that in individual emails. It works well in a sales conversation when you're just speaking about everything that's involved. Yeah, so I would just list your features and bullet points if you want to, but include all the information of why you're including that feature and what advantage that feature gives the person who's thinking about purchasing your program.
Okay, awesome. Does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, so how can we do that with like product based? I know you mentioned this is for more service based, but I have a product based business, and I think that's something that's lacking on my site, and that may be causing like the bounce rate to be so high. So any suggestions there?
Can
And
you give
also, just to give you like a background, I sell planners. I design my planners. Some of them are dated, some of them are not, monthly and daily. And so I have different products, but they all achieve the same thing in a way.
Okay. So you would want to list the features of each one separately, right? Because you have different planners for different purposes, right? You include certain things in one planner to achieve a purpose, right? So whatever the feature is, you're probably not adding features that are not adding some kind of value. Okay, so if you can think through if you can give me an example, we can workshop through this, right? But when you're thinking like, why did I include this? What's the benefit of having this? What advantage could that give somebody? And you just have to take it piece by piece, because no product, there's nothing on my iPhone that is superfluous. They didn't add things that nobody needs for no reason, right? And like I said, it may take some digging, but if you just sit with it and think like, okay, well, what if it didn't have that? What would be the problem there? What do they gain by having that? Then you can start digging into it. Does that help at all?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, now I can go back and really think about it and update. So in the product description, we would include all of that information, like, the feature, benefit, advantage, and problem, cause, and result. But we wouldn't list what's, like, let's say if it's a product, we wouldn't list what's in it, or we would do that in addition to the description.
So it really depends. I mean, if it's a short enough list of features that it makes sense to say, like, you can't live without this feature and here's why, you can't live without this feature and here's why, if it makes sense to do it like that. If there's a longer list of features, what you might want to do is list the features and then below it say, here's why we think all those features add up to being the exact thing that you need. And then start a narrative about the benefit that multiple features give and the advantages that that gives the person who uses this planner over another planner that doesn't have this feature.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's really helpful. Thanks.
Good. You're welcome. Any other
Anybody
questions?
have any other questions?
I was gonna say, Lori, it's Leo talking. Can I run one by you that I was kind of creating as you were going through it?
Let's do it. I love workshopping these. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a product photographer, so I'm a service-based entrepreneur. And one of the main differences between me and another product photographer is I'm a photo marketer. So I'm certified to help them not only give them the photos, but teach them how to talk to their customers with the photos. So I kind of work with them to do captions. So part of my package is called a photo marketing consult call.
Okay.
So I talk about how each photo casts a specific story to give your ideal buyer an idea of why they need their product. So with this one-on-one call, I allow you to learn how to talk to your ideal consumer. So I'm kind of like stuck because like I'm not like a marketing strategist, but I'm also not like, I'm trying to give them an edge up rather than just delivering photos and saying, here's your photos, good luck.
Yeah. So the thing that first comes to mind for me is basically you get this consultation, which gives you not only these gorgeous photos of your products, but ideas for how you can use them in your marketing. So you can like, I almost want to say something like, so you can make your picture worth way more than 1,000 words or something like, you know, something so that you're saying like, here's the advantage is that you're not going to be on your own to come up with how you can use this quickly. It could be a time-saving thing. Again, it really depends on your client and what matters to them. Are they wanting to save time when they're posting everything? Are they wanting to be more persuasive? Whatever it is that they're wanting to do, you lean more heavily into that. So if it's like, if you want to, you know, pull the heartstrings of your potential clients, we'll give you these captions in addition to these gorgeous photos so that you can effortlessly add emotion to your branding campaigns, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, perfect. Yeah, because my for my ideal client, it's more of not saving time, but more of they honestly don't know how to talk to their clients and pull on those heartstrings. Like my biggest brand talk when I talk about why photos are important, it's not me just clicking a button, it's showing the story through a photo. Because if you really think about it on Instagram, when you scroll through, nobody reads captions unless they see the photo first. That's awesome. So if you have this blurry, hard to see photo of another soap that thousands of people have, it's more about pulling it in. Like I work with like a lot of candle people, and the whole part of it is you can't smell a candle through Instagram. So pulling on the people's sense of smell is a big thing that I teach my clients, that it's not about saying, hey, buy one, click on the link. It's more of like, what does this make you feel like? So that's very helpful. Thank you.
you're welcome. And I'm also thinking like, if that's your ideal client and they're using these photos on Instagram, like it could be you get this consultation, which gives you not only the gorgeous pictures, but the captions you can use with it. And possibly one of the advantages, and I may need to add another benefit there, but could be so you can stop people from scrolling and actually get them to interact with you.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wrote down after you were talking before. So I said, so you can stop the scroll and make a connection with the people scrolling.
Yeah. So, and again, you just need to make that connection between here's what you're offering. Oh, that's why you're offering it, right? Because they just can't make that connection themselves. Perfect.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
Leah, you had said that that's not necessarily marketing, but that is 100% marketing.
Well,
So
what
like,
I mean,
So I think you can like sell that as an advantage. Like you're helping them with their marketing and also getting the photography.
Okay, but that's where I combine. It's called photo marketing. So instead of saying I'm just a photographer and I'm just a marketing strategist, I call it photo marketing because a lot of people get confused and be like, wait a minute, you post about a lot of pictures. Why are you trying to tell me you also do marketing? So I don't even know if photo marketing is a real thing, but that's what I call it, photo marketing. Because if I tell people I'm a marketing strategist, they'll be like, oh, can you help me with this, and this? And I'm like, no, I specifically work on photos and how they're marketed to specific people.
That's fair. That still makes you a marketer. Not all marketers know all marketing.
And I think you could maybe even say, I'm a marketing strategist who specializes in helping people use photos to tell their story.
Okay.
Totally. And everybody always tells you to niche down, right? So Lindsay's 100% spot on. Like you are a marketing expert and your niche is photo marketing. So you're kind of like, you're really defining your target audience or your avatar, as Lori had in her presentation. So
I do think though, I think photo marketing could be one of those like, it puts a question mark in my head. I'm not completely sure what you're talking about. And the confused mind basically just says no. So if you're saying something and you're seeing like confused looks like, I don't know what that is, you might workshop and play with it. So until you get this like, oh, as soon as you say it, oh, like I said, like I specialize in helping product-based companies tell their stories through pictures or something like, even though it's a little bit longer, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
I love that, Lori.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else have a question or want to work through something that they?
I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing.
Okay.
Can I? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm like going on now because I'm painting my nails. I hope so
Perfect time for that.
yeah. So Lori, so I have not launched my business. It's still like in the conceptual phases, but I do have a website, and my business is an agency helping forward-thinking organizations to develop a workplace culture that supports and lifts moms and women. So I just the other day created a new logo with like a little tagline underneath it that says, lift moms, arrow, improve culture, arrow, grow your business. So like by lifting moms, you're going to improve your culture and you're going to grow your business. And I almost changed it the other day because I was like, this sounds a little hokey pokey to me. Like it sounds like I'm trying to sell something to you. But now that we've done this exercise, it's like exactly the formula. Is it the grow your business part that is like too salesy and hokey pokey, or like, do I need to get a little bit more? I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think if how you're helping people grow their business is by improving their culture and you're focusing on lift. I'm not totally sure about the word lift moms. I'm not sure if that's the right word. And
I've wondered about that too. Like it should be, it started with uplift, but I'm not sure if that's it either.
I think that's closer than lift.
I like uplift better than lift too.
Okay.
But I think if that's the result that you're trying to help people get, is to grow their business by improving the culture, and you're starting with supporting the moms who work in your organization. Empower. Yeah,
I was thinking empower.
Lindsay, I just did uplift thesaurus, and elevate is one that kind of like
that almost has a promotion, like
with business.
Your moms, possibly.
Inspire.
So Inbal, not to cut you off, or Lori either. So, okay, but Lori, like my mission really is to empower and support women and moms in the workplace, in the workplace, so that we can change the status quo, change what we traditionally and historically think of women in the workplace. It's not to help people build their business. That's like the extra add-on that you get by doing these things. But I'm like in that early
Your
phase.
client. Is your client the mom who wants to be more supported at work, or your client is the company?
The company.
Okay, then I would leave it in, because the
Okay.
ultimate goal that they want
Is to grow their company and make more money. Yeah. Okay. Because like there's so much emphasis on DEI right now, which is like what this is,
Yeah.
providing. But the biggest part about DEI is like we need more diverse workplaces, we need more inclusive workplaces because of all of the positive impact that it brings, which includes growing your business and making more money.
Yeah. I think if the companies are your client, then leave it in, so that you're showing like I am kind of going about helping you grow your business in a different way than other people are talking about.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I like that.
Okay.
Thank you for going through that with me.
You're welcome.
And I will change lift to either one of the words that we all just discussed.
There's a few people that put, Lisa put empower, support, encourage. Tabitha said elevate was my first thought. There's in the chat.
Okay. I wrote all of those down.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I know that some of us kind of already talked about our businesses, but I want to do a more formal like introduction. I want you guys to talk about your business and put all your socials and websites in the chat. And yeah, we'll start with Deb, who doesn't have a camera on her computer, but you there, Deb?
Hello, I'm Deb Porter, and I'm the owner of Hold Hearing Out Life Drama. We are less than a therapist, but we're different from a family member, friend, or coworker. So you get to be heard, which gets you joy. So you can move on with your life in contentment. How was that?
That's awesome. I should have mentioned, let's do an introduction. Let's talk about our win for the last a win that you had in the last couple weeks, and kind of what you're working on for the next couple weeks for the rest of the month.
So I'm currently in the middle of a 30-day challenge on TikTok, posting 4 times a day for 30 days. We've got 7 days to go. We have so far hit the goal every single day. I'm super excited about that. And super big win for us was a YouTube video on Sunday that went up, had 940 views. So that was way bigger than anything else we've had. And so that's exciting.
That is so cool. Do you want to put the YouTube link in the chat?
Oh, I could, sure. Well, does anybody have a musical kid? Because it was about musical moms. That's the pain point it hit. So I don't know that that's the pain point that's, oh, okay. Well, there you go.
See?
Then.
You never know. And
one never knows.
Somebody might know somebody who does. So it's always good to share.
Okay. That's what, so I was really interesting as you were talking, the thing that struck me is, because I'm doing something so very different, people are not used to paying for a service like I'm offering. That's one of the things that struck me as Lori was speaking, is like, am I being clear about the benefits that people can get, right? So I think maybe I can.
The advantage that exists with hiring you.
Right, yeah.
Do you want to work through one of those, Deb?
Sure. So Linda and I have talked about that a little bit, but not a great deal. So one of the things that I've been playing around with in terms of addressing this is when I went through clinical pastoral education, my background is as a pastor. I was working in a hospital, and we learned that there are various illnesses that develop based on different stresses. So for example, people in the cardiac ward, we were taught to specifically look for a depth of anger, things that they were stuffing down and not letting up to the surface. And so, basically because the heart exploded, right? That's like, there's a cause and an effect, but I don't want anybody to understand or know, listen, if you don't talk to us, you're going to have a heart attack. That's not what I'm going to do. You know, if you're not going to address your bitterness, you're going to get diabetes. There is correlation. There's a very obvious correlation, or hospitals wouldn't have this knowledge. But at the same time, I don't want to say that in a way that's, I don't want to threaten people. I want to invite people to come to me. I don't want them to go, oh my God, I don't want cancer because, you know, if I don't book an appointment. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out, how do I soften these things so that they become a talking point advantage without being scary. Yeah.
Think about what they want to accomplish or achieve, and how you can lean into that. So instead of, you know, so you don't end up with cancer, so you can live the healthiest, most joyful life possible.
Ah, okay. Yeah, there you go. So you can...
Sorry, I'm sending Sephora something really fast.
Most enjoyable life possible. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know why that wasn't obvious to me, but it just wasn't. I wasn't getting there.
Yeah. Remember, the advantages are helping you paint that picture of like, oh, you can get this person to this. When they envision, they're like, oh, I just wish I could have that. Like, what is that? And how can you help use your advantages to paint the picture of, like, you're one step away from realizing that here's what they are. Like, here's what those things are that will help you get there. My program contains all those things.
In the images that Linda's been choosing for a lot of the ads, she's been choosing a mom who's just breathing. And that's been resonating so deeply with me. And now that explains why. Like, that's resonating, because that's what I wish for moms to have, is like that. I feel, yeah, that moment to breathe and connect with themselves so they can move on. Absolutely. Yeah. Great.
That's awesome. Thank you, Lori.
You're welcome.
Leah, go ahead.
Let's start with who I am. I'm Leah Biscardi. I'm based out of North Carolina. I am a still life product photographer. I work with product-based businesses to help them tell their story about their products on social media. We're saying a win, right?
Yeah, a win. I mean, do you want to talk about like your Clubhouse room or anything else that you do, your Facebook group page?
Yeah, I always forget to say everything.
That's what I'm here for.
I run a Facebook group for product-based and service-based entrepreneurs on Facebook. I'll drop the link in the chat. I'm really focused on networking. So I run a Clubhouse room on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called Finding Your Business Bestie. So we just go in there, introduce ourselves, and then I ask questions that entrepreneurs, sometimes we talk about business, sometimes we just talk about life. It just depends on who's in the room. But I'm really all about that human connection. And that's what I actually wrote down, is that's going to be part of my advantages to learning about the photo marketing process, because you really want to know that there's a human behind that product selling. And I have a podcast. It's called Adding Chrome to Your Community, which I bring on people to talk about business things. What else do I do? A lot of things. But this month has been really tough for me. I haven't hit any of my goals this month. But that's also because I'm taking a deep dive into figure out who I am, going back to those business foundations. And I'm experimenting a lot with my photography. I'm always trying new things and working with different clients just to test things out. But I mainly work with people in the self-care field: candles, bath bombs, lotions, anything more feminine based that makes people feel better about themselves.
Awesome. Like Sephora talked about, she has a planning, she makes planners and organizers, and I think journals, which she may be sold out of or may have restocked, but she may be a good asset to your Facebook group page.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely have to drop that information. My wireless keyboard died, so I had to run and go get a charger. I'm like, first world problems.
That's okay. Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Leah. And let me just tell you that I'm kind of in the same boat as you as far as this month goes. I'm redoing my homepage. So I feel like I haven't been marketing my platform as much because I don't want people to go to my homepage and then not, convert. So I feel not productive, but everything is going to be okay because you're making changes now that are going to help you in the long run. So you're doing great. You're putting yourself out there. Tabitha, your turn next, if you're able to talk.
I am. Good morning, ladies. Let's see, Tabitha Jensen. I run a relationship coaching business, Tabitha Jensen Relationship Coaching. And really my client avatar is women that are 30 to 50 that are painfully watching their marriage fall apart, is what I say. So these are women that they're not getting divorced, but they are wanting to make their marriage better. They're not really sure how to do it and how to go about doing it. So I'm excited because I have the superpower after my divorce and working through relationships in the last 3 years and learning and growing to be able to see what they don't see. And as Lori likes to say to me, when you're in the bottle, you just can't see it. You can't read the label. So that is my superpower. I'm able to see what you're too close to see and understand and see the patterns that are creating the dynamics that are happening in your relationships and give you a lot of amazing resources and tools. As I like to talk about, and Lori's like, no, talk in features and benefits, not features, benefits, results. I'm still learning to be able to help them learn all the things and know all the things that I didn't know or I wasn't implementing in my marriage. So I'm really super passionate about this work. It's something that's really near and dear to my heart. My mess is my message, of course. My big win, I just finished creating, I'm in the middle of creating the content of it. I've been writing it for a few years now, but the outline of my 3-month course. So it's 9 group coaching sessions, 9 content sessions, all one-on-one with me, and then one-on-one calls, and then lots of, it doesn't sound appealing, but homework. A lot of outside work they can also do, and that's just to their own discretion as how much they want to dig in. So that's a big win for me. And then my Facebook group is just continuing to grow.
You should put your Facebook link in here too. Thanks, Tabitha. Sephora, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sephora, and I'm the founder and CEO of Steph Crafts. I design planners that help industrious or busy people simplify their lifestyle. I design my planners myself. However, I get them, made in the US. In addition to my gratitude journals, I design them myself, including the questions. I stay up at night thinking about what questions to add in there. So as far as a win, I finally reached 702 followers. So I gained 30 followers on Instagram over the last 5 days. Wow. Similar to, I believe, Deb, who has a challenge that she's trying to increase engagement. I am also trying to increase engagement based on our last mastermind with the imposter syndrome. I'm trying to, be better about that. As far as sales goes, I have not reached that this month because I was focused on relaunching my website. I was moving from one platform to the next because I like their platform better. So for the next few weeks, I do have a 3-day market coming up, and I would love to get in a store. So I've been trying to reach out to boutiques and stuff and connect with people so I could sell my planners and/or journals in their stores.
That is so awesome.
Thank you. And I'm in North Carolina too, moving to Virginia soon.
What approach are you taking to get into retail stores? Do you have a list of stores you want to get into, or how are you going about doing that?
Yeah, so the original plan was, so I had gotten accepted into New York Now. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of them, but it's one of the biggest trade shows in New York and California. And what you do is just set up your booth, and then you meet with buyers, like from boutique stores all the way through big box stores, like they're all there. But because my husband's in the military and it sucks up everything, I had to like reschedule that. So now what I'm doing is just looking up stores near where I will be living and just sending them a message to see if we could meet. I had a store in mind, but then that fell through because they never responded. So I'm just kind of moving along, just seeing who would be interested, but I'm also looking at what the store sells too. Like, I'm not interested in just being in any type of store.
Yeah,
I'm
so
pretty intentional about it. Yeah.
I did retail sales for my candle company. And my biggest suggestion to you is don't email, just go in. Just go in and ask who the buyer is and start to make connections that way, because when you're talking to somebody, it's so much better to build that relationship with them. So just make a list. And this is kind of what I did, because when I moved from California to North Carolina, I had to do the same thing. I made a list. I started following them on Instagram before I even got there. Following them on Instagram, started commenting on their posts, started sharing their posts, and kind of building a relationship with them. And then I would go into their store and be like, hi, I'm Goldwick Candles. They're like, oh yeah, you posted about us on Instagram, you know, so you're kind of building that relationship before. So that was something that worked for me that may work for you.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good advice. I'm gonna definitely take you up on that for sure. And also, like, because I'm moving, it does make sense to kind of build a buzz before we actually get there. So I'll definitely do that. Let you know how that works out.
Yeah. And then you can sometimes you can make new friends from that too. It's always good to make new friends when you PCS somewhere.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. Lindsay, this is your first mastermind. Tell everybody about yourself.
Hi, everyone. Sephora, will you drop if you haven't? I want to look at your planners.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So my name is Lindsay. Sorry, my kid's going to bed if you can hear her screaming. I live in San Diego, and I am working on launching my business called The Park, like I was talking about earlier. My overall mission and goal is to reshape company culture and the status quo for working women and working moms, so that we have the option to be working when we become mothers. I know Inbal's a mom, and she knows firsthand like how complicated it is. And I just want to be part of that change. I think it's so necessary. And this is how I'm going to help. I don't really have like a service offering yet, other than like consulting. Like someone could call me and be like, so what do I do? And I can give them suggestions. I'm not quite sure like which direction my business is going to go, but a win for last week, is I met Inbal. We just like came across each other on Facebook. And so I talked to her, and now I'm talking to you. And she also connected me with Emily McDonald, and I'm going to do her mastermind 11-week course. And I'm hopefully going to be ready to launch my business after that happens. So I'm really excited.
That's so exciting. I feel like we met at the perfect time.
We did. Like if we had met a week later, it wouldn't have worked out for me to join. And yeah. So.
This is so perfect. I'm so excited for you. It's so funny. As you were saying that, I feel like this whole, working mom culture in the business, in the corporate world is just, nobody wants to improve it. It's always been like, oh, well, that's just how it is type of thing. And like having the ability to go and talk to corporations and small businesses and kind of change the way that they do things is such a game changer. And it just, as far as I know, doesn't exist. So what you're doing is incredible. I think you should put your website in there because I think it's a beautiful website and traffic is always good. So I love what you're doing and I'm so happy with that too.
And I was going to say, like, there's a lot of larger businesses that are already doing this. Like if you work at Facebook or like Salesforce, like you've got it made as a mom. Like you get like 8 months of fully paid leave.
Wow.
You have flexible schedules. Like a lot of companies offer lots of childcare help options and flexibility is like the biggest thing. But it's the smaller companies, like a company that has like 10, 25, 50 employees, they're going to be like, we can't offer paid family leave. And I want to show them how and why they should. And it will end up saving them money and having a higher retention rate, having a lower turnover rate. And even if they really, really can't afford a paid family leave program, just having a policy for family leave is huge. Instead of someone like an employee being the first person to be like, oh, I'm having a kid or my partner's having a kid, like, what do I do? At least there's something that shows that the company has thought about that and cares enough to put together something that just says like, we follow the government laws, like, because there's some companies that don't.
And even having a place to pump, I mean, it's as simple as that, just a place where you feel comfortable going in and pumping however many times a day you need to. I mean, it's as simple as that,
And the reason why I'm not focusing just on moms, but also women as a whole is specifically that was part of the reason is because I used to work in San Francisco at this like big tech recruiting company. It wasn't big, but it was like one of the tech recruiting companies in San Francisco that everybody knew. And we had a big open floor office with 2 conference rooms with glass walls and 2 individual bathrooms. That was it for the whole building. And I was like the oldest person that worked there at like 30 years old. And like maybe 2 of the guys were married. No one had kids. And I looked at that workplace as a married woman that like wanted to have children at some point in her life. And I was like, there's no support here. There's no like evidence that this workplace culture supports anyone but that has a single life that cares about the bar in the corner. And there is definitely nowhere for someone to pump in that office. Like I would be sitting in the bathroom, which is
on the floor probably.
Yeah, which actually is illegal, like in California. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they thought. I think that it just shows like the longevity of your employers is short if you're not planning to have women become mothers, because 87% of women become moms by the time they turn 44. So it's a huge part of the population.
Lindsay, I think this is a critical time in history with the Great Resignation and so many people leaving the workforce that employers need to be highly competitive.
Yes.
And I think also if you can highlight the cost of employee turnover.
Yes.
And how much it costs to train new people when you don't support the people that you have in a way that makes them want to stick around. You can, add that to your, that's if they do nothing, that's that detriment of, here's the problem that could happen. Here's what this problem will cause. And here's the result of that. You could be there if you don't do anything. And it's becoming more and more obvious that people don't want to be in an office anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Lindsay, I have an idea for you. Since you're in San Diego, and this is just like, I don't even know how this would work, but have you ever thought about maybe approaching military like bases? Because damn well that they're not, they're not really
not
catering
supportive
to moms.
of women. Yeah. Sephora's laughing. I can tell it's probably.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking of like my girlfriends that were in the Marine Corps. Like they have a baby and they're out. Or like my husband's cousin's wife, she had a baby and she was like basically deployed for the last 2 years, back to back to back. It's just, there's no care at all for moms at all. So I don't know.
That's a really good point, because I feel like the government sometimes has money to spend on things like this. I guess
I think this should be a priority for them to spend
Yeah.
money on.
I-
But just what Lori was saying about the training, because it costs so much money to train somebody new in the military, that
Mhm.
it's just like when you tell them, like, I mean, if Lori hadn't said that, I wouldn't have had this idea, which is why I love masterminds and brainstorming like this. But it's like the money that you can save them is maybe what they need to hear in order to hire you.
Especially if the cost to
Yeah.
hire you is a very small fraction to the amount of money they could lose by
Yeah.
paying for the cost of employee turnover.
Absolutely.
Anchor that amount.
Yeah. I need to find out that, see, these are the things that I hope to learn in my mastermind that I'm doing with Emily McDonald, that how do I figure this information out when it's just me doing all the research?
I decided, because I was having issues kind of getting the answers that I need, I decided to do a market research. And the way that I did that, I just went on Facebook groups. One specifically was Create and Cultivate, that like my target market is in. And I just asked, I was like, hey, I need to do some market research. I'll Venmo you $20. And so I had whoever was interested fill out a Google Forms, and I asked them a few questions like, are you already a part of like female communities? Do you own your own business? What is it? Are you in the US? And all this, like their email. And then I kind of reached out, and I'm setting up one-on-one 30-minute calls with people and just asking them questions. And so maybe that's something that you can find, like a Facebook group for corporate moms or corporate women or something like that.
Would that be my demographic that I'm trying to do the market research for? Or am I trying
you
to
can get info from them. So like
okay.
how much, that may be not your target market, but you can get info like what was the cost to train you? Like how long was it? Was it time consuming? Just that way you can get that info and use it in your pitch, or that's just like one aspect that just came to my mind for you.
that I should just do that, because I want my own research too. Like there's lots of research done, and I can't remember if I told this group or another group, but a lot of the research is about how much it sucks for moms, and how like so many moms have gotten pushed out of the workforce during COVID, and like how the wage gap it keeps getting bigger. But like, I want the research to be about like why it's so beneficial to hire a more diverse workforce, and why it's so beneficial and critical for the growth of your organization to have women in leadership positions and moms working for you. So I need to figure out those answers, because they're not around.
Yeah. And you can also ask them, maybe you can split up, like you can ask a question like, were you happy with the way that your corporation handles women and expecting mothers, or, you know, postpartum? And this is like when you're talking to them one-on-one, like, what were you happy about, or what were you not happy about? And then maybe some ideas will come to you that you're like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about doing that.
Yeah.
And you can add that into what you're doing as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I have 2 thoughts as well.
Please.
I just put into the chat score.org.
I'm working with the Score business coach.
Perfect. Okay. So you have a mentor. The other thought I had is, can you approach a local university and find out if there are anybody doing any research studies like that?
That's a really good idea.
And if they don't have anybody, you might just want to speak with somebody in a field that includes, you know, this population.
I actually talked to
them. They
Yeah, I
may,
talked
they
to
may go, you know
someone-
what, this is a research project we should do. Like,
You should be doing, yeah.
if they're not already doing one, it could make them go, you know what, actually, yeah, this is an important research project. Could put us on the map. Like, let's.
Do you think that that is in like women's studies or sociology or business? Where do you think it falls?
Yeah.
All of the above.
Yeah.
I'd start with women's studies. The studies are gonna start there probably first and then move out into
Move their
business.
way.
Yeah, that
Okay,
would be my
cool.
recommendation.
That's good advice. Okay, I love these ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, this is awesome. Lisa, you said you're driving and you left a blurb in the chat. Are you able to unmute and talk, or do you want me to read it for you? I think she said she's driving. So Lisa is in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. She has 3 sides to her business: corporate wellness, body contouring and massage, and holistic women empowerment health coach. Which corporate wellness, maybe you guys can kind of talk, Lindsay, and kind of brainstorm together too. So awesome. Does anybody have anything that they want to talk through or ask questions about or need advice on? We have about 15 minutes left. Are you guys on Clubhouse? I always talk about Clubhouse because I love it so much. Tabitha knows.
I'm on Club. Yeah, I'm on Club. I'm thinking about starting a room. I don't know how to become more of a moderator on there, because actually speaking really brings me a lot of joy. I know Reels for you, you're like, oh, they're so easy. Reels for me are not as easy because it's just it's like creating dense content in really bite-sized ways. So Reels tend to be a little bit more energy, but I would love to be more on Clubhouse.
You are such a great speaker. You should be a co-host with me one week.
That would be really fun. I know I've been on there probably more than I should, listening to different ways of becoming a moderator or moderating like a pro or just anything.
Yeah, I think somebody just actually posted a room about how to be a moderator. I think I just got a notification a little bit ago, but yeah, so Clubhouse is awesome to do market research on, to meet people, and just to talk about your business. Like Leah knows, there's networking rooms, there's educational rooms, there's like Lindsay, there's pitch rooms, which I think I told you about. It's just, there's so many investors in there. It's just a great way. Sephora, there's product-based rooms for people. I mean, it's just, the options are, you know, a million in Clubhouse. I love it. So I always like to kind of pose a question, and let's see. So I posted about self-care today in my reel, and I wanted to kind of know, not, you know, necessarily the like sleep more and all this stuff, self-care, but like, what's a quick self-care tip that you do when you need a little bit of a reset during the day? Lindsay.
Go for a walk. It's like the best thing that I do in my life. Just like go for a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk, 20-minute walk outside, like breathe outside air and try to get a little vitamin D at the same time. I also love to listen to books or podcasts while I'm walking. I do intentionally try to walk sometimes and not have something in my ear so that I can be present with my thoughts. But it's 100% what I do all the time. If I need just like new thoughts, if I'm feeling stuck, if I'm feeling depressed or anxious, go for a walk.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you listen to something when you walk, or do you just kind of walk with your own thoughts? Which could be scary sometimes.
I'm like a really big reader. So I usually am listening to a book. And if anyone else listens to books, make sure you download Libby. It is life-changing.
Libby. What is that?
It's like Libby, the library, like a cute
Oh.
library. It's an app where you can download through your library books, audiobooks or ebooks.
That is so cool.
And their reservation system is so good. It's not like at the library where like you reserve a book and if you don't go pick it up in 10 days, like it's gone. And if you don't have time to read it in 2 weeks, it's gone. Like you can be like, oh, I'm not ready yet. Give it to me in 7 days.
And then you go and pick up the actual book.
No,
it's
you
an
listen to
ebook.
it.
So it
it's
can
an
go to like your
ebook.
phone or your Kindle or your iPad and you can read it there or on your phone and you can listen.
it's like Audible, but you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, well,
really
you don't get it instantaneously though.
You can't. I have.
Some of them can't. Like if
The
they're
audio,
available, you can get it instantaneously.
That's
But like
cool.
when I'm on Clubhouse and when I'm on Clubhouse and somebody like yesterday, somebody mentioned like a Vibrate Higher daily book and like the Big Leap and things like that. I always like immediately go to my Amazon app and add it to like my wish list and look on Libby and see if it's on Libby and like reserve it. So I have to wait. Like I'm like the second person in the queue, but yeah, it's a good way of like, I don't know. I'm always listening on walks, listening to Clubhouse or audiobooks or podcasts though.
Oh, I've never thought to listen to Clubhouse on a walk.
Oh, replays. Yeah. It's a little addicting.
Yeah. I'm like a very much like a physical book, turn the page type of person. Like, do you guys remember in Sex and the City how she like sniffs the book because she likes the smell of library books? That's literally, I love it so much.
I do too. I had to like compromise with life.
Yeah. I'll actually tell my husband
totally
about
use
Libby,
it for
though.
audiobooks. Like if you're driving and if you have like a long drive and like you could totally use it for audiobooks too. So
Oh yeah, because you have long drives.
yeah, I do.
A lot.
Yes.
So yeah, that works for you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't have long drives anymore. So, but you know, I love having physical books, but my time to be able to read the physical books has diminished since having kids, right? So when I'm doing dishes or things like that, instead of having the TV in the background and listening to Love is Blind, having Clubhouse is much better. So I love self-care. I love taking showers and I love dance parties. Getting kids out the door to be able to go on a walk is so much energy that I love walks when my son's not around, but to try and get everybody corralled out the door is a little bit much. So dance parties, and I've already said this once before, but sex is a great self-care for me, I've realized, but it just takes a lot of coordination with the family. So, showers and dance parties, because I can do those with my child.
Yeah. Yeah. Dance parties are good. We do dance parties a lot. Walks are hard. My older one, my 2.5-year-old, never sat in a stroller. She still doesn't. She hates it.
Ugh.
Hates it. Like I remember walking on the boardwalk at the beach, like holding her in a carrier. I wore her for like 1.5 years and just envious of the people that could put their child in a stroller and walk. And my younger one is like that. She loves walks. So it's just different.
Will she scooter?
Now she's like, she rides bikes. She
Good.
Yeah. Now she's, and you know, she walks and runs but before it was kind of a mess. She's very spirited, we like to call her. Leah, what do you do for self-care?
So I don't know the meaning of relax. So that's why I started my podcast, because I really needed to learn new ways to take time baking. Like I'm probably sure everyone's jealous of me because of how fast my metabolism is, but anytime I'm stressed, I like to bake, because like you have to focus on baking. It's different than cooking. Like I'm from an Italian family and my mom just like, doesn't use recipes. She just throws a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But with baking, you really have to focus. And that's what I did today, because I was supposed to go to my part-time job today, but I didn't sleep very well last night. So I was like, I need to do something today. I can't just sit around and do nothing. So I baked banana bread because I was like, I need to pay attention to something other than my phone and social media. So baking to me is a big self-care thing, and everyone around me loves it because then they get sweet treats.
Yeah, I'm like, banana bread sounds really good right now, to be honest. Sephora, what about you?
Yeah, so I do a bunch of things. Like I like to listen to music. That tends to quiet the noise, if you will. I have kids, so they make a lot of noise. In terms of like when I feel overwhelmed, I usually just sit by myself. Like and I put a timer on for 11 minutes. For some reason, 11 minutes, just breathing in and out. Mentally, I am envisioning the ocean. So when I take a deep breath, the wave is going up, exhale, wave is going down. So for 11 minutes, that will reset my mind. So yeah, those are the two things, listening to music and sitting for 11 minutes with no sound.
Awesome. I love that. 11 minutes. As you were saying that, I like physically felt myself like go over waves. And I was like, wow, that sounds really nice. Lori, what about you?
This is a hard question for me to answer for some reason. I have several hobbies that I like. I call myself a hobby hopper because I'm like, sometimes I want to do puzzles, and sometimes I want to knit, and sometimes I want to bake, and sometimes I want to do, different kind of crafty things and whatever. But I was on a puzzle kick for a long time. So I would like a 1,000-piece puzzle was like always on my coffee table. And I sit there and, turn on a show that I don't have to look at because I've seen it so many times. I feel like I'm like sitting there with my friends, and I like, it's comfortable, and I'm doing my puzzle, and I light a candle that smells good to me. I guess that's self-care. I always think I need a bath, and then I get in the bath and I'm like, I'm hot and I'm bored. Like, I don't know why, like, I don't know why I don't know what I want, but there are like so many times, and I'm a single mom. I have a 14-year-old son, and I have split custody fully. So every other week I don't have him. But there are so many times when he is here, I'm like, he'll be like sitting next to me, and I'm like, I'm restless and I don't know what I want. I don't know how to relax. I don't know. Like, there's something that I'm craving and I don't know what it is. So I need like self-care ideas, because there's something that my body is craving for me to do, and I'm not fulfilling it because I don't know what it is. Isn't that weird?
Do you journal often?
I journal every day. I journal every day.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe
first thing,
something like active.
Mm-hmm.
So like one of the things that I posted was like decluttering. Oh my God, sorry. Decluttering a small space. So like going through a closet or like your bathroom or something, just like organizing for me works really well. Like I love that. I
read. I do a lot. Like I read. I go to the gym almost every morning. I read after the gym, drink my coffee, and I typically read like personal development, business kind of books in the morning, and then at night I have a novel that I read. I have sleep meditations that I do while I'm going to sleep. Like I'm doing a lot of different things that I feel like should be nourishing me. And I'm still like, I'm supposed to be doing something to relax. And I still don't know what it is. Maybe I do need a retreat. A friend of mine went to a 10-day silent meditation retreat.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like part of me wants to do it so badly. Like, I just want to find this time when I can go. You don't talk the whole time. They have classes where you go and you listen, but you don't talk.
Interesting.
So, I know, and it's free. You could do this for free. Most people probably be like, you have to pay me to go do that. But
yeah.
But I don't know. Like I have kind of retreated by myself, but I like go somewhere, and then I'm like, I feel this, like I want to do something feeling, and I can't identify what it is.
Well, I think when you go to a retreat, you're like, okay, like I'm here and I can't do anything else. When you're trying to like retreat at your house, there's a million things you can do. Your business is there, like, so you can't fully escape when you're at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I could be
I
silent.
struggle with this all the time. I don't know why I can't identify what self-care I need, but I don't know. Maybe that's why I hobby hop, because I'm like, maybe it's this. Nope, that's not that. Maybe it's this. Nope, nope, not that. Maybe it's this. Like I have over my life, I have made wreaths, I have made jewelry, I have baked, I learned how to knit. I did stamping for a while, card making, like I can't, scrapbooking, like so many things. And just like over Christmas, I was like, I need to get into like sugar cookie decorating. So I'm like, I'm in all these Facebook groups where people are like posting their sugar cookies. And then I'm like, but I'm trying not to eat sugar. My son's like, you bought all this stuff to make sugar cookies. When are you making them? I'm like, I don't need to eat sugar cookies. So I don't know what's wrong with me.
That's so funny. What about something more physical? Like my husband just took out, he's also, I like to call him a hobby whore. But he literally just has done everything, anything and everything, to the point where he bought like a $3,000 mountain bike and sold it after not using it at all for like $100 less. So he didn't lose that much money on it. But so now he had a surfboard that we've been together for 6 years. He hasn't touched in 6 years. So like a month ago, he's like, I'm going to go surfing. It's free essentially. And he loves it. And he needed something active like that. He couldn't figure out what it is. And now he's just like, he's hooked on surfing. So maybe you need like some sort of like a runner's high or something like that. Lisa said a break it room. Have you ever heard of those?
I have heard of those.
Maybe you
I
should
don't
try
have
that.
anger though. Like I don't have any pent up anger or like,
Yeah.
I feel better. I feel so good most of the time. So I don't know. I don't know what it is that I think I need. I really don't know.
Well, if we think of something, we'll pass it your way.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Lori, what an amazing presentation. So much valuable information. I'm so glad that we got to kind of work through it together. I'm sure that was super helpful for everybody. And yeah, have a great rest of your week. We have another one in 2 weeks. So I'm excited. Thank you guys. Any final thoughts?
Thank you.
Awesome.
It was
Thanks.
helpful. Yeah.
Very
definitely
helpful.
Good.
Definitely was. And I recorded it. So I'm going to send out the YouTube link to everybody who couldn't make it today.
Great.
So awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.